Hi everyone. So today our guest is Jian Perry Foucault, the music composer of Rebel Rebel. She's joining. Let me know your takes. If you have any query about our sessions or anything, you can comment below in the comment box. Let me know your takes. Let me um know how the new year is going and what's your new year resolution. If you have, uh, you can comment below in the comment section. Yeah, she is.
Hi,
Hello.
how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. I'm just realizing my face is extremely puffy. I'm very sorry. I'm jet lagged, so it's like it's been kind of tough these past couple of days.
Happy New Year, by the way.
Sorry?
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Yeah.
Yeah,
What time is it over there for you right now?
it's 2:30 p.m.
Okay, that's nice.
Yeah,
Afternoon, chill.
yeah. And I know it's morning there.
Yes.
Uh,
Not
yeah,
too early, thankfully. So thank you.
yeah, yeah. Sure. So first of all, I'd like to ask you about your journey. So when did you start your career? When did you start your journey?
Well, my career officially, I guess, started like around 2017, 2018. So
Yeah.
I'm fairly young composer. That's what I call myself. But I started playing the piano when I was 4. So maybe that's where my journey actually starts. And then I did like the whole conservatory thing and private classes, the whole classical thing. I stopped a little bit the classical music world when I was in high school and started composing then. I was like very inspired by poems. I was reading a lot of poems then. And that's when I kind of like started writing music on my own. And then I went to college and I studied film because I wanted to be a filmmaker. And
Okay.
yeah, and then I kind of went back into music when I was like in the middle of my studies. I was like studying film, but nobody was talking a lot about film music. I was like, this is really intriguing. And all
Yeah,
my
yeah.
friends were like, your music sounds very visual. Maybe you should try it. And that's kind of how I got into it, basically. But it's been a fun journey for now,
Yeah.
let's
So, but I actually read about you that you have started your whole journey at a very young age, at the age of 4, maybe.
say.
So, how was it? I mean, from an early age to now. I mean, how do you see your journey?
Mm. I think it was harder for my parents because I probably rebelled a lot in between, like I don't want to go anymore. I want to stop. That phase where you're like, you just want to hang out with your friends and you don't really
Yeah,
want to
yeah,
do that. I am very grateful I stuck with it or that they like made me stick with it because
yeah,
it's kind of it's very cheesy, but my piano is basically my best friend, right? It's like I'm feeling
Yeah.
kind of nervous, I go and channel everything through music. I'm feeling sad, I go channel everything through music. So it's like I can't do without it. If I'm traveling, it kind of gets hard not to have a piano
Yeah.
as like an emotional support, basically. Yeah. So
Yeah. So what was the time that you thought that this is the right time, that this is the right time I should pursue this career? Has it ever happened?
well, I think so. I graduated from my master's degree about like in 2017, and that's kind of when I was like trying to get into film music. So I was
Yeah.
like taking orchestration classes, composition classes, like doing the whole thing. And I scored my friend's short film,
Okay.
and it was very spontaneous. She was doing this short film because she wanted to write and direct and act in it, kind of just showcase her talents herself, which I found very interesting. And she had this great story, and the cinematography was really good, so I was like, yeah, I'll
Yeah.
do it. And then I was very unprepared. I didn't know what writing for a film was like. I just went in front of the piano and I was just writing a piano solo piece, just
Yeah.
watching the picture, and then like we found this studio who was
Yeah.
willing to record with us for this first short film for her and for me. And it's in the studio that kind of like the magic happened, right? It's like we were there, some of the pieces were not ready, we were going to go into the studio another day, but within like the intuition and within like the flow of things, we
Yeah.
were able to actually finish the whole score on the spot. And that's when I was like, wow, this is really magical. This is something that I would be
Yeah.
interested in doing for a really long time. Now I'm learning that things are not as easy and as flowy
Yeah.
as,
Yeah.
but it's still a very magical process for me. It's still from seeing where we start and seeing how the score and the music and the film and the relationship with the director, the producers is progresses and shifts. It's I don't know, it's very exciting for me.
So who are your inspirations throughout your career?
As composers or like generally?
You can say both of them.
Okay. I would say that one of my favorite composers is definitely Thomas Newman.
Okay.
I really love his personality, but also the way that he works, and his melodies. And I feel like you do feel his personality through his music, which is also what I'm trying to do. Like have this personality as
Yeah.
a musician, as a composer. Um, I mean, I think I read when I was in college, I read Patti Smith's Just Kids, which was, I don't know if you read it, but it's a book that kind of helped me go through the blank page fear,
Okay.
and also like just learning to let go and learning to be more in the moment, be more present, and not being afraid of not
Yeah.
necessarily finishing a piece, for instance, and not being frustrated by it. I think she had like it was a part of my life where I was um, going to school, it was hard, and then trying to figure out what to do with my life, because even if I wanted to do directing, it's like you're not going to make money right away from that, right? So it's
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
you got to figure out how to survive, you got to figure out all that stuff. And just reading her book was like just opened a new perspective for
Yeah.
everything. And that's actually when I started to like be able to improvise more. For instance, at the piano, like I would just sit and I would start to improvise, whereas I'd be scared to do that before that. I wasn't able to improvise because it was a scary process, right? Just
Yeah.
letting go,
Yeah.
not knowing where you're going, the unknown and everything. And now it's become a huge part of the way that I work. I just sit and improvise, and that's when the best ideas come. And
Yeah.
so I would say that the biggest inspiration was that book for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So I mean, every time a project comes to you, do you feel nervous that that you don't know how the filmmaker is going to react, or your own people are going to react? So do you feel nervous?
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely, for sure. In a good way though. I always try to I think that even if a director comes to me with a very specific idea in mind, I always try to get adventurous and be like, "Hey,
Yeah,
this is what I tried.
yeah,
It's okay if you don't like it, but this was what inspired me and what came out of me." Because not every composer is gonna compose one scene the same way. It's mesmerizing to see the amount of creativity that can come out from one exact same story.
yeah, yeah,
Um, yeah. So if they come to me, it's like I feel like they're expecting some sort of musical direction. So sometimes I just get adventurous, sometimes I stay in that musical direction, and it's nervous. But it's nice. It's exciting. I see it as exciting
yeah.
um more than the nervous side of it. Yeah.
So, like, every time you're composing something, like, has it ever happened that you have, like, you're composing something, and you find it's very similar to something, like, you have heard the music before? Has it ever happened to you?
Yeah, it does happen sometimes, especially if there's like a temp score, temporary music in place.
Yeah,
I I'm like I'm working and I'm like, wait, did I hear this before somewhere?
yeah,
Is this too similar to the temp score? Am I like literally copying it, just using different notes,
yeah,
and it just sounds similar because it's the same progression and everything? It does happen, and I get stuck when that happens because when I find an idea, it's kind of hard to break out of it. So I'm like, how do I shift this direction? And usually I need to like scratch it and go from zero because otherwise
yeah,
I stay in that same idea, and it's just like, and sometimes it's nothing that I've heard before, but it just sounds so similar that it's
yeah,
like I don't want it to sound similar just in case as well. So I usually just go with something totally different. Just try
yeah,
something
yeah. So,
new.
I was interviewing Harry Gregson Williams, some
Right.
so, and he was telling me that, like, sometimes he just composing something, and he faces a music block every time.
Mhm.
So, like, what's your take on that? Like, do you feel, like, do you feel the same, like you face the music block?
Oh yeah, definitely. I am not as busy as he would be, definitely. So I kind of take my time on that. To be honest,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
procrastination is a big part of my workflow. It's I used to reject it a lot, and then be
yeah,
like, oh, getting stressed about it. Oh, I'm not working on this right now. I'm not working on this. And then when I kind of realized that it was part of the way that I worked, because
yeah,
so let's say I'm blocked on a project. If I go and do something that's totally nothing to do with
mm,
music, even
yeah,
washing dishes. It can be washing dishes, it can be reading a book, it can be going on a walk, it can be
yeah,
watching 3 episodes of a show, binge watching something
yeah,
if I have
yeah,
time on my hands, obviously. Then when I sit at the piano in front of my computer, it's like in a very short amount of time I am able to actually come up with a
mm,
lot of stuff. So instead of, I found myself in situations where I'm like, okay, I gotta send in something by tonight or by tomorrow. I gotta finish this and I gotta work. If I'm in front of my computer and trying to come up with that, usually it takes me more time than actually going through
yeah,
that process because I'm just like staring at the screen and trying to come up with something,
yeah,
and I'm not feeling in the flow, I'm not feeling in the emotion. So whatever I come up with, I'm never truly satisfied with. I feel like it doesn't sound like me. I feel like it's not what I
yeah,
would do. It's not as good as what I would do. So I feel like whenever I have time, I try to embrace that downtime and actually focus on something else because it's still kind of like in the back of my mind. So even
yeah,
when I'm like doing something totally different, it's still there, and it kind of like just boils up. It's like I'm chopping the ingredients to put in the soup, and then once I go in my kitchen, it's just like putting the ingredients together and then
yeah,
mixing,
yeah,
letting it cook,
yeah.
basically. I never
So,
thought of that metaphor. That's kind of actually that's not really that's I don't know if that's a really nice metaphor, but for those who
so
like to maybe.
what's your actually process to selecting the projects? Like, do you see, like, Do you select, I mean, how do you select your projects?
Hmm. Great question. um, I think I mean, it's like the most important thing for me is whether I as a composer am the right choice for the movie, you know,
Yeah,
because I'm a young composer, some people come to me because of budgetary reasons, or
yeah,
they see my name somewhere but they haven't necessarily listened to my music, and they come to me with like this um something that could be that has nothing to do with what I usually do. And
yeah, yeah,
as much as I like exploring new genres and trying new things, if someone comes up to me and asks for maybe like R&B or rap or hip hop,
yeah,
that's very different from it's not something that I would personally be capable of doing. I don't think so. Or I would need like a lot of time so I can go study that genre and like actually, you know, work with musicians that know what they're
yeah,
doing.
yeah, yeah,
Um, so that's a major thing, because the music is here to serve the movie, right? If a person is looking for a rap song, I'm not going to go offer them something that's minimal piano or minimal orchestral
yeah,
music. uh, I'm supposed to serve the movie, I'm supposed to be there for the movie. So it's mostly about that. And then I feel like human communication for me is also a big part of the whole process. You know, it's like sometimes it doesn't click, and that's okay,
yeah,
because somebody else will click. And again, and if the relationship clicks, the work will click as well, and it's not going to be a struggle. It's just going to be more in the flow. It's going to be a more natural process, rather than trying to understand each other when we're not speaking the same language, when I'm unable to understand what they're looking for musically, and
yeah, yeah,
um, and vice versa. So I feel like those are the main things. I don't look at genre. I don't look at like other stuff
yeah,
most of the
yeah,
time, because every project has its own beauty. Every project has its brings something more to me as
yeah,
a composer, to me as a human being. So it's always an
yeah.
opportunity. Yeah.
And I feel it's a, I mean, real deal to, like the director's vision and at the same time your own voice. Like how do you deal with them? Like how do you convince your directors that this is the right way?
Uh, um, I think it's a feeling. I don't know if it's really convincing. Um, It's a lot. I mean, it goes with communication, right?
Yeah,
Again, it's like um we like everybody has a different perspective, and it's their baby. So it's like they have
yeah,
a very specific perspective in mind and
yeah,
a direction that they want to go in. So it's kind of sometimes it's kind of hard for them to, like, let's say, especially if they have temp music in it, again, they're like very tied to that temp music. It's
yeah,
they're unable to disconnect from it. So whatever you show them, they still want to go with the temp, and it's
yeah,
still not uh, good in the way that they want it to be. I think it's just a process. You know, it takes maybe some more time to get through the project, but eventually, I mean, there's always common ground. I think there's always common ground.
yeah,
I try more, they try more, and we just meet in the middle always.
yeah, yeah. So how actually the rebel it had happened?
I actually, so they came to me for one of the producers reached out to me. I was living in France then, and
Okay,
I mean, I'm in France right now when we're doing this interview, so it's kind of ironic.
okay.
But I was in France. It was like 2021, I believe. Yes.
Okay.
Um, so a little bit post COVID, but it was still a little bit COVID,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
they wanted to use one of my songs that they had seen on my page. So they sent me the movie, and then they were gonna have a talk with the director, and then the talk ended up uh, me me scoring the whole movie. It just turned into that talk.
yeah,
They had temporary music in there. They had a tight deadline, but it was a feature, and it was my first feature. And like
yeah,
I say, like the communication was just there. You know, it was like, okay, like I'll try sending you something, and then we'll see from there. And so that's kind of how it happened. It was a little bit of luck, as
Yeah.
usual, and a lot of accepting your flow, your process. Like I said, like being okay with procrastination and being okay with just doing it your way, because I feel like otherwise it wouldn't have worked.
Yeah. So I really want to know that what would be the right tips for the upcoming generation, for the all aspiring music composers? What would be
Mm.
your tips for them?
I think I think that when we start in this industry, that it's things are kind of like scary,
Yeah.
and because it's very big, it's very competitive, and everybody has advice for you. Everybody has a
Yeah.
right way of doing things, and I think that we always start out with this idea that okay, this is how it should go, right? This is how I should be doing things. Either I should start being an assistant, I should start writing this, I should start writing that, and I should go to this school. I should spend this much amount of time on this type of work, and then do
Yeah.
this. And I think it's very important that you find kind of your own way. Like it's
Yeah.
okay to be slower. It's okay to not have scored this genre of films on your
Yeah.
portfolio. It doesn't mean that you won't be able to score that in the future. It's like I think it's important to see everything as an opportunity and take everything as it comes, and not be afraid that not think that you're in the wrong direction if it's not according to what everybody else says that you should be doing, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, because it's a huge ocean, and there's always an opportunity for everybody, every type of music, every type of person, and it's just a matter of finding your own path within it. There's no wrong or right way to do things, and it's okay to
Yeah.
like make mistakes, because we all learn from our mistakes, right? That's how we're like,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
I'll do this next time. So, and then take another direction and try something else, and not be afraid of trying things that are different or unexpected, I guess, because it's always there that we
Yeah.
actually find interesting
Yeah.
things.
Totally. Have you ever been in India before?
No, I have not. My dad has.
You should visit India. I mean, it's really a beautiful city, a beautiful country, and so whenever you're planning to visit India, just let me know.
Yeah, I would love to. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's definitely on my bucket list of places to visit. Yeah. But I was actually hoping to do like a huge trip.
Yeah.
Um, it was supposed to be spring 2022, which it did not happen. But yeah, I wanted to really visit India, Vietnam, and then
Okay.
all of Southeast Asia as well, Philippines,
Yeah.
Thailand and everything. But
Yeah.
we'll see. Maybe someday. Hopefully
Yeah,
someday.
maybe someday. And maybe someday you will like. Do you have any plan that you will work in an Indian project?
I mean, I would love to.
Yeah.
I haven't had the opportunity yet, but it's such a vast world as well, and
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, Bollywood produces so many movies, so
Yeah.
it's a huge industry. I would love to. If I get the chance, yes, I would love to, definitely. Yeah.
So yeah, do you have any plan to debut as a director? Because I that you have said that already said that you actually you were into filmmaking. So
Mhm.
do you
I mean,
have any plan?
maybe I would like to, maybe more in the production side of things now,
Okay.
rather than directing. But if the opportunity presents itself, I mean, I guess why not? Try something new again. Maybe I'll direct and write the music, or maybe I'll hire
Yeah.
somebody to write
Yeah.
the music. Who knows?
Yeah.
Depending on what the movie's about.
Exactly. I
Yeah,
mean, just like Michael Giacchino, who recently directed Werewolf by Night.
yeah,
So
exactly. You never know. In life, you never know where you're gonna be
yeah,
ending up and doing. Yeah.
yeah,
I think it's important
exactly.
to explore it, because it's like everything
Yeah,
in the
totally.
art
Yeah,
world, everything just feeds itself, right?
yeah,
Every door is for the bigger picture always. So it's
yeah,
like,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So
Yeah.
sometime it also happens that you have composed a music and the film it has released, and then you feel like you could have done better. I mean, this part could could be better. Has it ever happened?
Yes, a lot. A lot of the times, I think, um, my dad used to say that, I don't know if he got the quote from somewhere, but he used to say that as artists, we'll never be uh, perfect, like we'll never think that our work is perfect. We'll never be fully satisfied with
Yeah.
the finished product. There's always something more that could be done. There's always something that could be better. There's always something that could be changed.
Yeah.
And I think that is the case. And I think we all struggle with it because, you know, it's kind of like hard listening. Sometimes when I'm like by myself and I listen to work that I did like years ago, I'm like, that's not too bad actually, you know, but it's never like,
Yeah.
yes, this is great. I did a great job. I'm so proud of myself. It's never that. I don't know why. I don't know where it comes from. I don't know why we're all like that in the end, you know? I think that it's also part of our process to accept it
Yeah.
and let
Yeah.
go. You know, just be like, this is how it is. It's out there in the world. There's nothing I can do about it now. So
Totally. So, but do you have any project in your hand right now? Like, is it coming or any new project that is
I
coming?
do. I'm working on 3 short films. They're all in post-production right
Okay.
now. Yeah, so one is French. I just talked to the director last night actually. So that one is gonna be finished by the end of the month. It's gonna be something that's very quick. And then the 2 others are based in LA.
Yeah.
One is in a more jazzy style. I both have I have a co-composer on that.
Okay.
Who's helping me out, a really talented pianist as well and a composer as well. And then I'm working on a sci-fi thriller comedy, like this movie with like a mixed genre, and it's
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
one. I have to admit is very challenging because it's something that I've never tried before, and
Yeah.
I've been having a hard time finding the right tone for the movie because it's one of those movies where like it can, if it's too thriller, it can like go into the thriller, but if it's like too comedic, it can be very
Yeah.
cheesy and like, you know, too much a little bit. So it's, you got to be right in the middle. And the director is a really, really close friend of mine. So we talk a lot about like where, you know, the communication is even easier and like even more open about all of
Yeah.
it, thankfully. But I'm also getting help from a co-composer on that too. So it's another magical process, you know, working with another composer on a project where like again he brings his own perspective, I bring my own perspective, and I'm like, whoa, I never actually thought of doing things like that. Like thank you for opening my eye on that and like
Yeah.
and feeding me to that and introducing me to that. So it's you know, always learning, always growing.
Yeah. Totally. So, I wish you all the very best for like, and I hope you get an Indian film because I'm saying this because I'm Indian filmmaker. So,
Nice, nice. What
so
kind of films do you make?
yeah, I made so many short films,
Mhm.
and right now I'm working on a short film executive produced by Peter Cameron, who is the producer of Moon Knight, Marvel Studios Moon Knight. So,
Nice.
I'm actually working on that film.
Congratulations. That's great.
Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
Are you working, so you're working from India on it? Is he
Yeah,
also
I'm working on it in India right now. So yeah, maybe I'll be going to LA next year or maybe. So
nice? Well, you know, if you come to LA or to Paris, same if I come to India, you gotta call us, you gotta call me,
definitely, I'll
and we
let you
can
know.
meet up. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Okay. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
And
Thanks for
have a great
having
day.
me.
Yeah.
I'll talk to you soon.
Thank you. Thank you. It's really an honor to have you here. Okay.
Thank you. Bye.
Yeah. Bye.